Is your life a mess? Are you wondering what God is doing about it? Well, we're going to find that answer next on Devo with SteveO. Life is a mess. We wake up to it every day. We find ourselves making the bed, cleaning our room, washing the dishes, doing our laundry. And then when looking inside ourselves, we find even more of a mess. It's a mess of worries and heartbreak, of anger and illness. Then when we look beyond ourselves and outside our door, we find things get even messier. From traffic and pollution to injustice and violence and even disaster. This is life. The world we live in. It's just one big mess. But did you know it's also the world that Jesus entered into and the world that he came to save? And his life became our example to follow and the way to overcome our mess. And a reminder that we don't have to do it alone. Jesus will be there. I know he'll be there, just as I know he's with you now. I know this for certain because he said as much in his final words on earth. Jesus said, "Remember, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." I hope this becomes clear to you and that you find his words to be true. Yet I realize that this may not be the case, and you may not understand it yet. But you're not alone in your doubts, because even the disciples were unsure. As we find in Acts chapter 1, starting at verse 6. So the disciples had all come together, and they asked Jesus, "Lord, is this the time that you will restore the kingdom to Israel?" Jesus replied, "It is not for you to know the time that the Father has set by his own authority. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." You see, just before the resurrected Jesus ascended into heaven, his disciples asked Jesus if he would now establish God's kingdom on earth. Jesus answered saying it's not for them to know when that would happen, but that they would receive the power of the Holy Spirit and that they would be his witnesses throughout the world. Jesus gives them this answer, but it may not have been the answer that the disciples were expecting. You see, the disciples were presuming that God's kingdom would start right away. It's if they were saying to Jesus, "Lord, this world is a mess. Our life is a mess. God needs to do something about it now." And essentially, Jesus responds by saying, "I did do something. I made you. Go and be my witness." God made you. He gave you life. He made you so that he could love you. He made you so that you could love him and so that you could love your neighbor as yourself. He wants you to see him, to find him working through the mess in your life, redeeming what you've lost, restoring what was broken, and bringing life out of death, and to have you witness to others his grace and his mercy. Ask yourself these two questions at the end of every day. Where did I see Jesus today? And what was my response when I saw him? Because remember, you are not alone. God is with you now and everywhere you travel. Do you know this? Can you see him? My prayer is that you do, and that you respond to his presence, so that when life is joyous, respond with celebration. When life is tragic, respond with compassion. Do this as Jesus has asked of you. For when you do, that is where you'll find God cleaning up the mess. Peace be with you.